and welcome to my YouTube channel, Ultimate Knife Search. Today it's about the Buck Combat knife. Yes, of course, from Buck, and a little bit about this Combat Series knife from Buck. This is the knife here today is a ground combat. So, but let's take a look on another knife before. This is one of the heavy duties, what can you say, combat, in the combat series. This one is the heavy duty one, and it's called the Buck Talon 808. And there has not been a knife I have been more angry on, but I will tell you quickly about that. You cannot, I'll try to put this away. You cannot, I have modified this tip here in angriness. So you cannot, you have to see away from this tip here. It has a more prey bar look in the end here. But I bought this knife here, I think, 2.5 years ago or something, 2 years ago. And because it was, what can you say, one of the most hyped or best in the series. But guys, I have promised myself when I started this channel here, I will never talk trash to knives, but I can of course talk the downsides to knives. I have never had a knife in my hand who has so a bad handle. When you pick the knife up, the handle is pretty okay to hold on, but in 5 minutes use, you will get so many hot spots. You will get this hook here, if you can see here, this hook down here. I'll not say it is sharp, but it really hurt your hands. And I have working Viking hands, guys. So that's not that's not because I have soft hands. And the hot spots up here, because the micarta scales is texture so what can you say, not sharp, but they are very aggressive. So, but if you hold the knife and use it quickly, it's okay, but if you have to chop with it and something, I have never had a knife with so bad handle on. So that's why, but and somehow I really love Buck knife, and I also have, you have seen it before, I also have this folder here from the Combat series. It is not the strongest knife in the whole world, but it's light. It's only 100 grams, so I carry this sometime also, and I really love this this folder here. So when you can say, I was looking a little bit down to this Combat series from Buck, I really love. I will put this away, guys. I really I'm so angry when I look at this knife. I was so disappointed, and it is an expensive knife. I think it's now it's about $350 or $400. It's a really expensive knife, but I will not say anything more. You can figure yourself out. This is not the knife for me. So when I saw this knife here, I think, of course, I could see the knife was not similar in the way the handle was made and something, but they used the same type of micarta, and but the knife have a whole different shape. So I think, okay, I would try to buy this knife here. And I buy this also for maybe 2 years ago or something like that. And this was a whole different story. I was very positive about this knife here, and in the time I was so glad with this knife here that I want to customize it. And I have said in a couple of my videos, I was in the way of making the customizing on this knife here, and I am, but this is taking slowly, guys, because I have so many other things that have a little bit first priority. But you can see the shape of it. This is a beautiful knife, and it's a 5160 steel with a Bosch heat treatment, and this is an awesome little knife. And you can see, I hope you can get some focus there. We maybe try it. There you can see the way they had made the tip. The knife's back are tapered down, but when you get to the tip, it is the fat again. So this is also a good way to to make a strong tip on a little knife like this. And I will say the knife, I have used it a lot, and the knife is awesome, and it is quick to move around, and it's easy and nimble, and you have a good grip on it. And I will say the thing I was talking about in the Talon, this is not the case here. It's a whole different thing to hold on, and in this knife here, when you can say it has no hook back here, it's pretty okay. It is a little bit more aggressive, so the knife not will slip out on your hands, and it's easy. And I like when you have a knife in this size here, I like to have put some weight to it. I cannot remember the exactly weight, but it is nice to have some weight to it, because when you have a little knife, it is not, what can I say, if you not have some weight to it, it's not easy to chop with it. Of course, this is not, if you are a chopping guy who chopping everything, this is not the way to go. This is a more, what can I say, durability, small knife you can use for almost anything. It is strong, and I have a good fade on it. They call this the Ground Combat series, and I know when the name combat comes in, everybody thinks combat and fighting are together. Of course, if you are a soldier and you can use this knife, and no doubt about it. Everybody thinks this is a fighting knife because it has written combat all over it. But as a soldier, I will say the closest thing you get to use a knife as a soldier is more like to, what can you say, you use your knife for a campfire or base camp, because you use your knife to open cans, you use your knife to prep some fire, you use your knife to cut some boxes and some paracord, or anything you should use your, what can you say, a daily carrying to. But of course, this is also a defense weapon if you are in a combat close to close situation. So and this will work perfect for that. And you can also use this for hunting. So but again, when you talk about combat, you think immediately fighting, but this is not the case when you talk about a soldier's knife. A soldier's knife is a everyday carrying knife for anything, and you use your knife very to almost to anything. So yes, let's go out and make some testing on this knife here and see what it can do for this size of knife here. I will say, when I start, I have used this knife here a lot. So if I have some, what can you say, purpose on this knife here, I would have been like they were different. I would like it have been a little bit wider at the blade, and I would like it maybe have been an inch or two longer. It will have been perfect for me. But as this size here, guys, this is a pretty hefty knife. So, and we can take a quick closer look at the sheet also. This is a pretty okay sheet. I think you maybe this also come in a Tanto version, and you can use the same sheet if you have the Tanto or this spear type of blade here. It's the same types of sheet, and you can molly attach this to anything and carry it. Like I will say, for me, and again, it's because I'm a little bit nerdy, I would more had like a pancake type of sheet here, because I think the sheet is a little bit too big for this small knife. So you can say it was normally, if you pack it on your gear here, you can see it's, if you have some gear sits here, it's filled up pretty much for this small knife here. But you can of course also take this off and you can make another sheet to it. So, but in what can you say, overall this is a pretty good sheet, and I will not change it. It is pretty okay and has some draining hole there, and it fits awesome. And you have this screws there, so if you want to carry this knife like this and you think it is taking out too easy, you can just tighten this up, and you will tighten how the retention is. And you also have this extra thing here if you are travel a lot and not use a knife, you can of course strap this thing in here and you have a little bit more hold to the knife. So yes, let's see what it can do. The winter is coming to Scandinavia, and you can see here the ice is is spring up this log here. So let's try to see if this is totally frozen. I can, and this has some piercing ability, but I can just not get the knife in the stump here. So, but let's try to get some. You can see this is some water hose, but it is frozen, so it is stiff. But you can, of course, cut it, but it is pretty stiff when this. You can almost easier break it off like this. So, but it's okay for this little knife here, and take something like this, and you can do some small chops with it, and you can of course make something pointy with this knife here. I will say this knife here, you can do anything with it as you can do as any other knife in this size here, and it has of course what can you say, the weight against it, because it's not so heavy as a larger knife, so you have to, but also it is maybe a little bit easier to do some fine things with this knife. You can easily make something that are pointed with no problem. So yes, let's go on and see how this knife here betons, and it's a pretty okay log, and it is frozen, guys, so I don't know if I can go through it, but I will give it a try. And in this knife here, as I mentioned before, it is tapered down, so I'll try to hit it on the tip here, so I don't hurt my beton stick so much. So let's see if you can get. Oh, it's splitting pretty okay. So let's see again. Yeah, it's fine. Let's put them to side, and we have a good ground for, what can I say, a fire later here. Yes, it is splitting okay. It's been a while since I have used this knife, and when I do this now, I can remember that this knife here for its size is split pretty okay. So that's awesome. Let's try this one here. It's a little bit heavier. See, yes, it goes fine too. That's awesome. Let's take one more here. And yes, and let's see if we can make some feather sticks. And as I had mentioned in all my videos, when I get a knife with a choil, I will say with some knife I got, I am pretty okay with the choil, but mostly I like when the edge is going all the way back to the handle, because here you can see you almost have a choil in the handle, so you can hold it like this. And if this knife here should have a choil and the same cutting, it would have been the length of the blade would have been out here, and you have this choil here you can use for nothing. So for a knife in this size, I think this is pretty okay built. So, and there's a good flat section here you can hold. Look at this, guys. It can really make some fine feather sticks. Paper thin. This is awesome with this Bock Ground Combat knife here. And when I get this knife, I can remember out of the box, it was hair popping sharp. So, and I have used it a lot, and it's still sharp. I think of course I have taken to what can I say, ceramic rod for sometimes, but this here, it is awesome. I'll try to, I don't know if you can see it, I'll try to, you can see these curls there. That is it's pretty awesome. So this little hefty knife here, and you can see that, of course, this one, this is pretty hard, and I have no worries to pray bar with this knife. And again, I have mentioned in my videos, be cautious about this here, because if you break the tip, you are, of course, what can I say, you can still use the knife, but it will be bad. But I have no worries about this tip here and this heat treatment, and 5160 steel, it is strong. And again, remember, you are the toolbox. This is not the knife who is the toolbox. You are the toolbox. So if you want to use this knife for this thing here, use it with caution, and you can pray bar with this knife here with no problems. So, and when I get this knife here, I was a little bit about worried because the guard is not so, what could say, the guard is not going down so deep. So when I stabbed with it full power, I was a little bit afraid maybe my hand could slide over, but I have never had this problem. So, and I can really jam this knife hard in, and there's no problem. So let's see if you can take some drop test here and see how it, maybe you don't think it will stick on because this is frozen. Yes, you can see how much this lock is frozen. The knife will not go in. So we will not do this test today. Maybe we can try to get a little bit more. If you try to turn it this way, just to see the strength of this knife here. I will really hammer on it and see if I can go through it. Well, maybe this is hard. This wood here and frozen. So, but yes, now we're getting there. Yes, and this and knife are still 100% flawless. Strong little knife. If you are like me, when you're traveling a lot and hiking in the forest, sometimes even here in Scandinavia there are many trees like this who have no, what can you say, logs coming out. So if you are in a situation where you need to take a rest or go maybe a little bit away from your backpack, you can use this knife for, you can see here, I'll try, you can see it, it has a pretty good hammer end, so you can use it for something like this. Take it in the tree here, and you can hammer it in, and you can take your backpack off and you can hang it like this and go away from it. And now you can of course take this higher up. You can go away for half an hour or maybe an hour, and you have not be afraid of there are any foxes or anything has gone into your backpack. So that's something that is pretty awesome with this little hammer and combat knife here. Yes guys, if there are a thing in this review here I have been looking forward to is the spear test here, because I know the knife is called a combat series, so it has of course a little bit tactical and soldier touch to it, and I will say if this spear point here not can pierce anything, I don't know what. This is awesome, and it is straight, and the handle is flat, so you can easily attach to a stick like this, and this is an awesome thing. And now you can say, if this is the only knife you have, as if you go out hiking or you are a soldier or something, this is not a very big knife, but when you have it on a stick like this, it is a deadly weapon. I have recently made a review on a walking stick, and you can see it there, but now you can stab with it with long reach, and you can slice with it, and you can of course throw it as a spear. And now you don't have to have this long end here. You can also have maybe just this, a half a meter, and you still have an awesome weapon. And let's try to throw this as a spear. And I'll say today, guys, this lock I normally use here is deadly frozen. It's like concrete, so I don't know if the knife would go in it, but I will say this tip here, that will be a good chance. But let's try to see. This is probably 50 times more hot than a wild boar, so if the knife can hold up to this, it can hold up to anything. So let's try it. And again, because I will say it before I throw it, because this knife here has this weight to it. You have seen all my reviews I have thrown as a spear, and you have some heavy nose, but here it feels more like this knife is made to do this. So let's try it, and I will go back 5 or 6 meters and try to to see if they can go in this frozen lock here. Let's try it. Oh, yes. Take your guys over there and see. Sorry, you can see it goes in. It's been a half away, but this lock there is frozen, so the knife can hold up to this. Yes, let's try it one more time to see. Now I'm curious, can the knife hold up? And take a check. There's no tip damage or anything, so let's try it one more time. I hope I have tightened this up enough, because this is frozen, guys. Let's try it one more time and see if we can go in. Yes. Oh my god. This is 5160 here, guys, and this shape of knife, I don't know if any of you use your knife for this, but I love it. I am excited, and you can see, I hope you can see it. I can take my hand up so we can get some focus. Yes, there you can see the tip are still straight, and also the blade. And I will say, guys, this knife here and this lock is so frozen. I know I've mentioned this 10 times, but that's because this is a very hard test for a knife. And also a tip, look at it. I really love it, the tip on this knife here, how they build it. This is made to be strong. So yes, let's try. You can say, of course, this type of test here, what is this good for? But this is, I hammer the knife in the stump and stand on it, and this will of course check the heat treatment, and also the toughness of the knife and the scales. And but this has a hammer in, I have shown you before, so I have no worries about that. But I have a few questions on my comment section. Why do you stand on the knife? Do you have any purpose for that? And you can say mostly times no, but I have been in a few situations when I have hike around where I have to reach up for something in the trees. I have sometimes 1 or 2 times, yes, I have make my camp up in a tree. So and I have not so big knife with me at the time, so of course I could have had a chop, what can you say, a stair, I don't know what you call it, in in the tree and go up. But I used at the time I used my knife to hammer in, and I use this as a stair. So but again, the mostly you will not use your knife for that. So this is more to show off the strength of the knife, and let's see if you can hammer this in. And again, I can guarantee you guys, everything here is frozen. So I really hope I can hammer this in. I'll try to see if I get it good. And I really love, yes, I really love when a knife is built with a hammer end, so you don't have to hammer on the scales. So let's check. I think this is sitting pretty okay, and I'm 120 kilos, so let's see if, yes, try one more time. And you also check the fleckness of the steel, and let's see, yes. And now the hard part to get it out. Oh yes. And let's check out for any bending or anything. There's nothing. This knife here is straight as an arrow. And again, the hammer end there, you can see there are no damage. And the knife and the blade is flawless. You can see I have used a different screw there. This is from another buck knife I showed at the start of the video, because that was in my goals for this customization of this knife here, and this is not finished yet. There are one thing more I'll say about this knife here. This, try to get some focus here. The coating the buck use on the knife is some type of, try to hold the focus, is some types of Teflon coating. This is a tough coating, guys. This has been to get this coating off this blade here has been one of the hardest tasks I've ever done with a knife, and I have customizing many knives, guys. So I'll say, if you are to the coating, this is a very tough coating. Of course, when you use your knife, you will wear the coating off, but this can hold up for very long time. And if I don't get anything wrong, I will not put my hands up to it. But I think that if you send it back to buck, if you have stripped all the coating off, or what can I say, use it so much so the coating getting off, maybe they will coat it. I don't think they will do it for free, but maybe, get some focus again, but maybe they will. I can't remember. So, but this is a strong little knife, guys. Yes, you can say one of the biggest issue with carrying a, what can I say, a smaller knife is the chopping power. And of course, this will not chop like a bigger knife, but this is dead frozen, guys. You can see the ice here is come out of, but I will try to chop this log here, and I will when I edit this video here, speed it up so you don't have to see I'm chopping. But I'll try to see if this little, what can I say, combat knife here will chop. So yes, let's do it. yes guys, I must say I was a little bit surprised how good this little knife here job. It is 2.5, 3 inch lock here, and it was pretty fast. And of course, when you have this shape of handle here, you have to hold a little bit tight to it, but it was not so difficult a job as I think. And this is, as again, dead frozen, so I was very impressed on this little knife here. Awesome. Yes, that was a little bit testing on this ground combat buck knife here, and I really think this is an awesome little knife, and this is definitely one to have in your collection. And I will say this is a little bit to the smaller size for me, for if I should call it one do-all knife. I'll say, if this should be my only knife I'll take with me, I will rather have the knife on 6 or 7 inch. I think this is 5.5 inch length of blade, so a 7 inch blade would be perfect for this knife here. But there are some pluses and minuses when you talk about sizes. So, but I really think this is an awesome knife, and this 5160 steel here, I really love it, and how the knife looks and performs, and how to hold on it and use the knife. I really love it. And there are something I know maybe sometimes I'm a little bit hard with my knife when I use it, but in my mind, when I go out for hiking, not hiking but hiking, I'll say the most thing that can give me comfort in my, what can I say, soul and spirit when I go out for hiking is have a knife with me I can trust. And you can trust this knife here. You can hammer on it, you can pray about with it, you can throw it as a spear, and you can prep food with it, and you can use this for open something with this hammer end here. And I'll say I know there are something coming from Work Tough Gear. They call it the Little Evil, and this is designed by Zeke Manacho, and I can't wait to get my hands on one of this, because I will not compare this to this knife here, but it has a little bit the same DNA. It's also a fighter and combat tactical knives, and this is just this is 5.5 inch length, and this Little Evil is you can get in two different sizes, 5 3/4, and you can get it on a 7 or 7.5 inch blade. So I'm really looking forward to this came out. But this buck here, you can go wrong with it, and can take a closer look on it the last time here. I really think it is an awesome blade, and look at the shape of it. That was something that appealed to me also. And as I mentioned, you can get it in a Tanto version also, and I also think the Tanto version looks badass, but this spear point here is really cool. So yes, I only have one thing more to say, and that's don't go hiking. Go hiking!